At the New Orleans estate, as you come out, there are 5 fine portraits. One of a lady in a divan, another of a knight in his horse, the third one of the master himself, a fourth of a ship sailing, and last but not least, of a beautiful Greek maiden. Who are they? What are their paintings doing in the manor? Join me now as we find out here in Stories from the Mansion. Portraits and paintings fill the Gracey and Ravenswood manors of New York, New Orleans, and Thunder Mesa. We have discussed a series of 11 portraits known as the Sinister 11 before, and 2 portraits at the ballroom known as the Duelists, even the New York mansion's last owner's portrait. But the mansion is a big estate filled with all sorts of art and acquisitions from all over the world. As you exit a nightmarish gallery at the New Orleans estate, you come across 5 portraits. Such experience is similar at the Hudson River or New York estate, but you come across them after the stairs leading to the second story. In both manors, these portraits are in front of a fiery thunderstorm that appears to change their beautiful or plain content into a tragic and morbid one. The first portrait is that of the Werecat Lady. This one was part of the original set of changing portraits Davis sketched for the mansion. This one made it to the attraction itself. Originally, this one went from Lady to Black Panther Lady in a slow transformation. After 2005, it changed with the lightning and went from Panther Lady to Siberian Tiger Lady. This due to the fact that they needed white or bright colors for all transformations. Werecat Lady also appeared in the Haunted Mansion movie, also in a Siberian tiger form instead of a panther one. Many claim there are 3 possible influences for Davis's sketch. The first one is from the movie Cat People from 1947. Where the main antagonist transforms into a black panther and haunts her husband's lover. The second one comes from an episode from Bewitched, where Samantha transforms a stray cat into a woman. She even has scenes where she poses exactly like the mansion's Werecat Lady, and the dates of the episode's airing are close to the development of the mansion, but nothing is very clear. The third one is Edward Manette's Olympia, which has the lady in the same position as our Werecat Lady, and even has a black cat on sight. As for fanfictions and her origins, she is connected to one of Constance's husband, who has a tiger's pellet in his seat in the attic. He either purchased the portrait of the lady, or somehow knew this magical creature in one of his trips to some place in the world. The only canonical explanation for her being there is given by the ghost host, who explains they have got ghosts from all over the world, meaning she manifests herself at the portrait and might even be a witch or an Indian or Burmese mythical creature. Moving on, we find ourselves with the Black Knight. This knight, who fiercely rides his valiant horse, is seemingly struck by lightning, revealing his bones and those of his horse. Yet this character was intended to originally rot slowly into a corpse knight. This portrait is in fact based on a real-life character named the Black Prince, Sir Edward of Cornwall. Born in 1330 in Oxfordshire, England, he sacked the town of Limoges in 1370 and killed over 3,000 men, women and children out of nothing but anger of having been betrayed by a friend native from that town. He died from dysentery in 1376. How and why did an image of this grim warrior from the other side of the world end up decorating the halls of the mansion? For inspiration, Davis used the sketch of Walter Paget of a triumphant Sir Edward of Cornwall after the Battle of Crecy. He is in the attraction because during development they were collecting ghosts from all over the world, including Ivan the Terrible, Rasputin, Attila, and other historically evil spirits, including the murderous and vengeful knight. Fanfiction says this portrait has a longer history than we may remember, so it dates back to the Hudson River mansion. They arrived after New Amsterdam became New York and brought with them the fragments of their British past, connecting them somehow with this night. Others say it is simply collectible medieval paraphernalia that rich folks collected back in Victorian times, adding to the list of cursed objects brought to the mansion as the mummy and the Medusa portrait. Let us close this section by reading the epitaph of Sir Edward's tomb. Such as thou art, sometime was I. Such as I am, such shalt thou be. I thought little on thou of death, so long as I enjoyed breath. But now a wretched captive am I, deep in the ground, lo here I lie. My beauty great is all quite gone, my flesh is wasted to the bone. Perhaps the knight's portrait is a visual representation of this warning, of his flesh wasted to the bone. Speaking of decomposition, our next portrait is that of Master Gracey. I have devoted an entire video on him, so please do check it out. I will only add that this character was added to this line of portraits back in 2005, after his character became bigger thanks to the Haunted Mansion movie and the colors of his bones helped with the lightning effect. He is placed in the center of the gallery where Medusa used to be, in a privileged place as current or last owner of the estate. As for his fanfictions and origin, do visit the Master Gracey video. Moving along, what seems a quaint sea trip transforms into a deadly hailstorm in less than a second. Maritime themes are present all over the New Orleans mansion, which is located just in front of the river and had a pirate owner. This ship is based on the legend of the Flying Dutchman, a Dutch ship that tried to cross Cape Hope during a hailstorm. Unable to make port, the captain cursed the powers of the sea that prevented them from doing so, and forced the fleet to carry on despite the storm. The boat was destroyed and cursed. The crew would forever roam the sea without being able to touch land. Other legend says this boat was unable to touch land because the captain made a treaty with the devil so as to obtain ungodly speed. This portrait came to the hands of the owners of the mansion through its first owner, Captain Gore. The Graceys, when they bought the estate, had already furnished and found many portraits, busts, and decor from the previous owners in the attic. Some abandoned portraits and frames from previous owners still remain at the attic. Speaking of curses, let us now go to our next portrait, Medusa. The maiden, who outspokenly declared her beauty worthy that of Athena, was punished by the envious goddess to be so ugly as to transform anyone who saw her into stone. Ashamed by this, the Gorgon retired to a cave with her sisters, never to bother anyone again. But years later, a hero named Perseus sought her head and ended her life by showing her reflection, transforming herself into stone. Why is this portrait at the mansion? Medusa was part of the ghosts from all over the world acquisitions, including Dracula, Cleopatra, and Caesar's ghost. Daphne was also thought for the portrait section but never made it into the ride. In the comics, she is simply some art bought by the previous owners of the house along with the Dark Knight and the Mummy. There, she has the ability to leave the portrait at will to chase mortals and do her master's bidding, that being Captain Gore, which supports the theory that the portrait was his and not the Gracey's. Medusa used to be one of the few characters along Aunt Lucretia to appear in all the haunted mansions, including Mystic Manor. In her spot before the 2005 remodeling used to be another portrait of a young lady whose beauty faded away. April December was her official name. This beautiful lady transformed into an old corpse in a second. I made an entire video about her. Do check it out. So, what other characters from the mansion would you like to hear about? I'll see you all a little later here in Stories from the Mansion.